Good morning and welcome to the news at 10 on 19 News 24, reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I'm Comfort Amadu. Let's take the headlines. Federal government and judiciary, parliamentary workers' unions agreed to implement financial autonomy in 30 days. Ahead of November 6 Anambra governorship election, INEC schedules nomination of candidates primaries for June 10 and July 1st, 2021. Police intercept 4 trucks of illegal diesel at Gwagwalada, Kubwa and Nyanya axis heading towards Niger and Kaduna states. United States launch decade on ecosystem restoration. We begin the news with federal government suspension indefinitely of the operations of microblogging and social networking site Twitter in Nigeria. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed announced the suspension in a statement signed by his special assistant Segun Adeyemi, citing the persistent use of the platform for activities that are capable of undermining Nigerians' corporate existence. The minister said the federal government has also directed the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, to immediately commence the process of licensing all other social media operations in Nigeria. In a related news, the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has described as unfortunate the involvement of prominent citizens who engaged in the spreading of fake news on the death of Professor Godswill Obioma. Lai Mohammed was speaking in a chat with members of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture Press Corps. Anthony Forsen reports.
Expressing regret in the manner with which the death of the NECO registrar, Professor Godswill Obioma, was reported in the social media.
The tweet of Professor Chidi Odekalu, and without mincing words, I think it's the highest level of irresponsibility on the part of a man that, with such a pedigree, a former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, to engage in such egregious fake news.
The minister said the fake tweet by the former NHRC chairman has the capacity to cause a breach of public peace.
You can imagine what would have happened, for instance, if there were reprisal attacks based on that, fake news from Professor Chidi Odekalu. And he's not alone in this. Now, I think it's about time we wake up in Nigeria and take, this issue of fake news more seriously than we are taking it.
It is in realization of such situation, the minister pointed out, informed the need to launch a sensitization campaign on the dangers of fake news and hate speech in 2017. In Abuja, Anthony Forsen, NTA News.
And the federal government and judiciary and parliamentary workers' unions have set up 30 days target towards implementation of financial autonomy for the judicial arm of government. The decision was taken after a meeting between the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, and the workers' union. Joseph Oten reports.
Judiciary and parliamentary workers in Nigeria have been on strike for 2 months, demanding financial autonomy. This meeting between the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, is convened towards setting a target for implementation.
All the parties have also now signed the implementation document, and all the parties are expected to meet up their commitment and obligation as spelled out clearly in the implementation and also agreement. This, I think, is very, very necessary to ensure that industrial peace and harmony continue to thrive.
Already, the courts and state houses of assembly have signed an agreement for the implementation of financial autonomy with the governors, and the workers' unions and the federal government are looking towards a workable resolution.
We are not oblivious of the fact that this situation has posed serious security challenges for the country, especially as the courts were closed and the law enforcement agencies had no place to take arrested criminals to.
It is becoming a national security question and a question affecting human rights. Please let us hear very positive words that will soothe the security and political and human right temperature of the country.
It is hopeful that the 30 days window will give all parties time to agree on steps towards implementation of the financial autonomy for the judiciary arm of government. In Abuja, Joseph Oten, NTA News.
And as INEC prepares for the November 6th Anambra governorship election, political parties that have indicated interest in nominating candidates for the election are advised to conduct the primaries for the nomination of candidates between 10th June and 1st of July 2021 as part of its statutory oversight responsibilities. The commission was written to all the political parties that indicated the interest in conducting party primaries and sponsoring candidates for the election on their responsibilities and obligations. For parties that opt for indirect primaries, the list of delegates must be made available to the commission as well as aspirants at least 7 days before the conduct of the primaries. INEC National Commissioner for Information Festus Okoye, in a statement, appeals to political parties to conduct valid primaries and avoid acrimonious primaries leading to avoidable litigation. Our National Police Council has formally confirmed the appointment of Usman Alkali Baba as Substantive Inspector General of Police. The Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Megari Dingyadi, announced this while briefing journalists after the council's meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports.
During the virtual meeting of the National Police Council, which lasted more than 2 hours, members not only scrutinized the rich credentials of the appointee, but also demanded explanations on how he intends to tackle the internal security challenges bedeviling the country.
The Council, because of the track records of service of the appointee, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba Alkali, was unanimously confirmed as the Inspector General of Police for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President used that opportunity to congratulate him for this appointment and to call on him to ensure that the security challenges that this country is facing are brought to the barest minimum.
The minister also confirmed that the new IGP will be given the necessary support and assistance by the federal government towards discharging his mandate.
If you want to have a safe society, it has to be expensive. And this administration is quite aware of this and is determined to ensure that whatever is needed to secure this country is also provided. At the last Security Council meeting that we had, Mr. President has aggregated all these things and set up a committee under the chairmanship of the Vice President to look into all the issues of not only the police but other security agencies as well, and to come up with some recommendations that are tenable, that are practicable, so that government will intervene. We are making progress towards that direction.
IGP Usman Alkali Baba, who briefed the council on the security situation in the country, assured the president and indeed Nigerians that the confidence reposed in him will be justified.
We, in collaboration with other security agents and the military, will try to checkmate all acts of lawlessness, criminality, and unlawful agitations in order to ensure life and properties are saved, and at the same time Nigerian citizens go about their lawful businesses.
He said already the worrisome situation in the southeast as regards the attacks on critical national assets and killings of security personnel is being checked. And with the establishment of the Police Trust Fund and community policing, the signing into law of the Police Act 2020, as well as several other intervention funds, the desired technology and intelligence-led policing, the IGP said, will be a reality in the best interest of Nigeria.
I've also been able to brief council on rescue of kidnapped victims and what we are doing to secure the school children that are being kidnapped and how to go about securing those that are still going to the school.
He said since coming on board, a number of arrests have been made as regards criminal elements, while several firearms and serious weaponry recovered. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The Special Task Force on Petroleum and Illegal Bunkering set up by the Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba has intercepted 4 trucks of illegally procured diesel at Gwagwalada, Kubwa and Nyanya axis in the FCT. Security correspondent Francis Form reports that the product was concealed with bags of chicken feeds heading towards Niger and Kaduna states.
Ordinarily, for an onlooker, he would think the truck is carrying chicken feeds. But in between, inside, is all this package that you've just seen that has been displayed. And we also develop our own tactics of detecting them and getting them arrested. They made very useful confessions. Some of them are leading us to where they got the product. As per our prosecution, anytime the courts resume sitting, our legal department have already concluded all actions on it.
10 suspects have so far been arrested in connection with the crime, while the team is on the trail of others. This news at 10 is broadcast live on NTA News 24, still to come. United Nations launched Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. Details in a moment. Welcome back. ECOWAS Parliament is concerned that the security situation in Niger could undermine its capacity to support the stability of other West African countries. And consequently, members of the Parliament are recommending regional support to stem the tide of insecurity in what they call the Big Brother Nigeria. Onenge Fineface has the report.
According to the United Nations, the number of street children in Nigeria runs into millions. This growing number has left government helpless and calls for urgent attention and actions of state and regional bodies of African Union to expedite action, as children represent the hope, survival and continuity of human existence. As these children took their turns to share their day-to-day experiences and pains on the streets, representative of the Minister of Women Affairs, Ali Madugu, and the Special Assistant to the President on African First Ladies Peace Mission, Almakura Meiro, as well as other keynote speakers, say street children have been neglected and the time to give them a voice is now.
The President has approved for the reinauguration of a technical working group to end violence in Nigeria.
Lest we forget, the kidnappers, insurgents, bandits, and robbers of yesterday were mostly street children of yesterday, while the criminals of many years to come are the street children of today.
The founder of the Young Ambassadors Against Drug Abuse Initiative advocates clampdown on the illegal movement of children within the sub-African region.
It may surprise you to know that street children do not benefit from the programs designed by government and organizations at all strata.
High point of the event was the inauguration of Street Children Parliament. The theme for this year's event is ECOWAS Parliament, a date with a street child. Serafina Okun Umekwe, NT News.
Now, Srada Serafina Okun's report will bring you that of Onenge Fineface at the course of the bulletin. And though business activities have relatively returned to Tegina, where 130 children were abducted on Sunday afternoon at Salihu Tanko Islamia. However, some shop owners in the area are still counting their losses following the burgling of their shops by bandits during the assault on the school children.
Details emerging from Salihu Tanko Islamia School Tegina revealed that this school was donated by a retired civil servant in 2005 to promote both Islamic and Western education. Most of its pupils are reportedly orphans acquiring education at no cost.
Registration of the school is free for everybody, but orphans, it has upper hand. We register them free, we give them books free, we buy uniform for them. Yeah, among the orphans there with them, we have not less than 15 to 16 orphans there with the bandits.
2 years old Muhammad Sani Hashim was among the 11 children abandoned on the bush path by bandits after they were abducted. His mother, Khadija Hashim, still have 3 of her children in captivity.
There's no any recent development. We are only waiting and calling on God to touch their hearts. Maybe they will call later.
Meanwhile, the Sunday attack on the town by the bandits did not only stop in the abduction of the children. Muhammad Ishaq Jamiu is a businessman who alleged that his shop was among business outlets that were burgled by the bandits.
I'm here at least 8 years now, doing barbing, selling phones, selling accessories. I don't have any bad experience. This is the first time. Only God now just shield us. So my glass is outside with phones inside. When they come, they break the glass, pack out the phones where it's inside. 200,000 plus.
This is Tegina Junction, which is few meters away from the Islamia school where the abduction took place. And like other parts of the town, it's now a beehive of activities in Tegina. Mukhtar Abubakaru, NTA News.
Our Nigerian Center for Disease Control and CDC has announced 48 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The latest figures released bring the total number of confirmed cases to 166,730 infections in the country. A breakdown of the new cases from 9 states indicates that Lagos and Yobe states recorded the highest number for the day with 16 new cases. Imo and Kaduna states recorded 4 new cases each. Kano has 8, Gombe 3, while Akwa Ibom Delta, the FCT, Kaduna and Rivers recorded 1 new case each. With the latest development, 162,584 cases have been discharged, while death toll stands at 2,117. The understanding that only with healthy ecosystem can the world enhance people's livelihoods, counteract to counter climate change and stop the collapse of biodiversity has led to the launch of the United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. The commemoration of the 2021 World Environment Day is an ideal opportunity to raise awareness of the immense potential and opportunities of the ecosystem restoration. Onenge Fineface reports.
Today is the beginning of a time that we go out there and heal this earth.
It's World Environment Day again, and the launch of the United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, a decade to leverage available opportunities to heal the earth, build back better from the COVID-19 pandemic, foment the transition to green energy and economy.
By restoring ecosystems, we can drive a transformation that will contribute to the achievement of all the Sustainable Development Goals. The task is monumental. We need to replant and protect our forests. We need to clean up our rivers and seas. And we need to green our cities.
World leaders are pushing for climate action in the decade of restoration to scale response through net zero emission and increased ambitions in the nationally determined contribution and the seas of nations.
Restoration enhances the resilience of ecosystems to climate impacts. Restoration has considerable mitigation potential, as well by sequestering carbon in trees, shrubs, and soils.
The science is clear. We have 1 decade to address climate change, to end biodiversity loss, and to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals.
World Environment Day 2021 is therefore an opportunity to reimagine, recreate, and restore the lost flora and fauna of the earth.
Our time don't come.
Onengiye Fine Face, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 10, live on NTA News 24. Here's a reminder of our top stories. The federal government and the judiciary and parliamentary workers' union have agreed to implement financial autonomy in 30 days. Ahead of November 6th Anambra governorship election, INEC has scheduled nomination of candidates primaries for June 10th and July 1, 2021. The IGP Special Task Force on Petroleum and Illegal Bunkering Police have intercepted 4 trucks of illegal diesels at Gwagwalada, Kubwa and Nyanya axis heading towards Niger and Kaduna states. United Nations have launched a decade on ecosystem restoration.
This is NTA News 24.
President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed optimism that the position Nigeria occupies in the FIFA Council will provide huge benefits critical to the advancement of football in the country and across the African continent. Granting audience to the President of Nigerian Football Federation and member FIFA Council, Amaju Pinnick, the President announced that a new business model for sports development in the country will soon be unveiled. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
The Nigeria Football Federation President Amaju Pinnick, led to the State House by Youth and Sports Minister Sunday Dare, is the 3rd Nigerian to secure the position of FIFA Council membership. The position, President Buhari said, comes at a time the federal government is committed to turning around the fortunes of sports through better infrastructure, more government incentives, as well as public and private sector investments.
This is why we have reclassified sports from mere recreation to business. A new business model for Nigerian sports development will soon be ready. I look forward to it coming to Federal Executive Council. I believe in the potential of sports to promote peace, unity, enhance good health, and promote economy.
While congratulating Amaju Pinnick on his election victory, President Buhari believes that the NFF president is now appropriately positioned to bring international context to the development of football in Nigeria, and therefore the need to use the position towards attracting a global boost to Nigeria's sporting image.
One of the greatest sports is football, and Nigeria is a great football nation. I am myself a keen follower of football. Not player. Therefore, I want to see Nigeria's football develop and move in a more dynamic trajectory. Nigeria also needs a more privatized and better organized football regime that can rival others in Europe and America. The Nigeria Football Federation must therefore work with the sports ministry and football stakeholders to provide Nigeria with a 10-year football master plan. This will be in line with FIFA's commitment to youth football development.
The president urged corporate organizations to invest in Nigeria's sports development, especially football, towards keeping the nation's youth busy and making the country a great sporting nation. Both the sports minister, Sunday Dare, and the NFF president, Amaju Pinnick, thanked President Buhari for his support for sports development in the country, without which they say Nigeria wouldn't have been elected into the FIFA Council.
Mr. President, I can also tell you clearly that because I was elected, another Nigerian was also re-elected into the FIFA Ethics Committee, which is a matter of your anti-corruption. He is the only African in that committee. It goes enough to show that there's so much confidence in your fight against corruption.
We look forward to a time very soon when you will graciously approve an annual event to decorate on an annual basis worthy sportsmen and women who go out there, give us podium performance, and bring glory to our country in international competitions, that they will be considered for national awards annually. This will encourage them and fuel the spirit of our youth.
The president of the Nigeria Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick in particular, pledged to be a worthy ambassador of Nigeria in the Council of the World Football Governing Body. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
That ends the news at 10 on NTA News 24. There will be an update on top of the hour at 11. The fight against rape and rapists is still gaining momentum. Don't be left out. Connect with the NTA in this fight and be a star. I'm Comfort Amadu.